Litecoin is busted a move. Let's talk about what's up next with both a bullish and a bearish scenario, and then my long-term price targets that will blow your mind. Let's get into it. What's up, people? Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro, back at it again with your Litecoin report. And I am so happy to be your Litecoin guide for the coming bull market. I'm going to stick with this all the way to the end and help usher everyone through step by step so we can cut a clear pathway through the forest and know what's about to happen each step of the way. Okay, we're going to jump into the 4-hour chart, and I'm going to show you two scenarios of what I believe Litecoin is going to do next, and then what the mind-blowing, shocking prediction is for the price action within the next few months. All right, let's get rid of this, and here we are on the 4-hour chart. Now, the last time that we talked about Litecoin, I was saying there's a possibility that it could break 100, but I didn't believe it would happen this quick. And what happened? Oh my goodness, before I could even blink my eyes, boom, here we did. We shot straight up and almost, well, actually we did go above 120, which wasn't even on my mind before. I was just looking for that $100 level. And since Bitcoin had its big breakout move, smashing all of the previous highs and hitting 2 in a row all-time highs, Litecoin has gone right along with it. So big brother Bitcoin makes its moves, and Litecoin tends to follow every step of the way. That means that we can actually predict the movements and we can know what's going on because we watch Big Brother Bitcoin. The other thing, of course, that I love about this project, this is the second oldest crypto in the whole market, and it's a safe bet. One thing I noticed is that institutional buyers are picking up a chunk of Litecoin and putting it in their portfolios. However, they are loading up mainly on Bitcoin, but you are seeing a chunk of Litecoin, a chunk of XRP, and a significant chunk of Ethereum being added into their portfolios. Because of that, I don't think that there's much to lose here when we invest into Litecoin. For those of you who don't want to put your money into the riskier projects, but you just want a handsome and respectable return. Okay, so back to the chart here. We notice that the price touched on a very special point here. I'm going to go to the 1-day chart so I can show you what this is. It's very clear here. We've got my magical fib circle rings that are laid out right here, and we hit on, I believe it's the 4.618. Yes, it is the 4.618 fib circle ring that is on my chart, and the minute it touched that, we had a correction, and now we see that it's trying to sit on the 4.236 fib circle ring, and this is where we will get our two scenarios for what could possibly happen next with the Litecoin action. And it all hinges on Bitcoin. Depending on what Bitcoin does, if it takes a tear to 30,000, we're going to get a bullish scenario. If Bitcoin corrects, we're going to get a bearish scenario. So let's look at both. On the bullish, if Bitcoin tears off again, we could bounce right back up to this fib circle ring, at which point I would say that it could reject or it could catapult to the next level that we're going to talk about, but not at the moment. Actually, that's above a critical price that I've got indicated on this chart, but we'll get to that. It's at like 140 something. Now, if Bitcoin does correct, we have a bearish scenario where I believe that either we come up and we hit on the 4.618 again and reject, or we will crawl along the 4.236 and then we will drop down to the 3.618. Now, with the 3.618, I believe this will be the new base level if the bear scenario comes into play. That means we could see a price somewhere around $90 as the new base. Now, sadly, I sold off my whole bag and took a profit at $85. Big mistake. Well, I guess I can't complain because I did do a swing trade and I promised myself that I would swing trade all throughout the process. But the mistake I made was selling the whole bag. However, I was able to buy back one Litecoin because I did make a profit. And even at the higher price that I bought back in at 110, it was still basically the same price of my average when I sold off that bag before. I had an average price of 75. Now here's my game plan. If we run into this bearish scenario, I'm going to have a strike zone box that sits right around here where I'm going to start to buy the minute we drop below $100, and I will start my accumulation game until we hit a bottom. Now, the only indication that we have here on the chart for the bearish scenario to come into play is the stochastic. It looks like the fast line is overtaking the slow line, the %K, which is the blue, %D is the red, and it looks like it is slightly, ever so slightly, pointing in the southern direction. So if we can get a full cycle to come down here, I believe this strike zone is going to come into play, and this is where I will reaccumulate my Litecoin and get ready for the next leg up. If we have the bullish scenario, I might have to consider making a strike zone somewhere around the 120 level, because we could move up with Bitcoin and then say drop back down to the bottom of this strike zone and then catapult on to the next level. Whatever the case, I'm going to end up with about 5 Litecoin by the time we're all said and done. So there's no sense in risking all of what you have. You don't need to sell your house and your furniture and your cat and your dog. If you get a little bit of money into this project, you're going to stand to gain in the long run. We're thinking about 10x to maybe 15x or more, depending on how things go. But we do believe that now is the point where Litecoin could be giving the best value against Bitcoin. Now, if I jump over to a new chart, let me look up LTC against BTC and show you this real quick, and then we'll jump back to our chart. Now, we're going to take this out to 1 week, scrunch this down, and we're going to see that at this moment in time, the Litecoin versus Bitcoin has come to a point where it is at the least value. In other words, if you are investing in Bitcoin or deciding to move to Litecoin, when we dive down here, you should be sitting in Bitcoin because this is where it is at its least value versus Bitcoin. So then we moved up and now we're heading down again. And in history, we have seen where Litecoin usually comes out of these low points and then it goes on a tear like we did during the bull run of 2017, where we went straight to the moon right there against Bitcoin. So that means that it is a wise investment versus Bitcoin if you buy at this low point right now, where Litecoin it is at the lowest value versus Bitcoin. Okay, let's just jump back to the regular chart here. Actually, let me jump over here. There we go. And move into the 1 day. Let's zoom this up again. In fact, let's go to the 4 hour. And so let's look at some of the other evidence here. And we can see my previous strike zone that is done. So I need to move this out and over and then adjust it up where I'd like to hit that strike zone price at, say, starting at 100. So we're going to bring this on up. And this is how I play it, guys. I make a game plan and I stick to that plan. So based on the stochastic right now, it's looking like we've got some downward momentum here where it might be taking a little breather, but I'm hoping that it will continue down and get into the oversold zone and get me firmly into this strike zone here so I can accumulate before we hit the next leg up. All right, so that's my plan there for the bullish and the bearish. Now let's go back to the 1 day chart. And let's talk about price targets. In fact, let's go to the 1 week, okay? We can see it easier here because we have these little purple lines that I'm showing you. And where do those come from? They come from the previous bull run. And this includes the previous all-time high and the points that we took breaks when we were in the distribution phase before the bear market ended and we started consolidating, accumulation and now consolidation. So that means that after we get done with whatever this correction is going to be and we hit that next leg up, we have a purple line that is at, is that a purple line? Yes, it is. We've got one at 116 that is next. I think we've already hit that. And we're coming down back to that point. So I think this one is a done deal. But the next one sits at 146. That's a critical point, and that matches the high of 2019. So we're probably going to hit that, retest it, hit a little bit of a correction, and then it's going to shoot to the next point. It's going to test $180 right here, which is one of the points from the reflex reaction here as you have your whipsaw coming down off of that all-time high. We're probably going to test that point, have a slight correction, and the next point would be $250. And then, of course, the all-time high, which is at basically 420. So anything that you do right now, even though I sold and need to buy back, hey, big deal, because this is what we're looking to see for the next year and going beyond. Okay, so if I consolidate and repurchase my bag at the sub $100 price levels or even above $100, this is what we're headed for. We're looking to smash the previous all-time high and then go further, okay? Projections are in the range of $1,500, which dwarfs everything that we've seen to date with Litecoin. So if we are here and we crash just through every one of these previous resistances, this is what they're talking about, a $1,500 Litecoin. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. And there could be a black swan event. You never know. Don't take my word for it. This is definitely not financial advice, because you could lose your butt and you could end up in the soup line. However, of all of these cryptos out there, besides Bitcoin, this is one of the safest bets, and that's why I'm excited about it as the institutional buyers continue to pick up Litecoin. Plus, we've got very easy TA that we can watch along the way and know where it's going. All right, that's all I have. What are your thoughts on Litecoin in the immediate future? Do you see a correction coming back to the sub $100 levels, or do you think that those days are long gone? What's your projection for for January of 2021? I'm thinking $300 is in play. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But until next time, we'll watch that price line, get some more information, watch the action, and I'll be right back again with a Litecoin report for you. This is Carlton Flowers, your Crypto Pro. Like and subscribe. Let's build this viewer count so we can get the YouTube updates or YouTube story activated when we hit 1,000. We'll have a celebration when we hit 1,000. And don't forget to drop in on the Telegram group and join the conversation in detail. That's all I got. We'll see you next time, guys, and we out.